Okay, so I wanted to review real quick how to find out the sine. So as we know from the formula, we're going to end up using either 1 plus cosine of x all over 2 underneath our radical, or 1 minus cosine x divided by 2 all underneath our radical. The big question that you guys have is how to know the sign here. Okay, so let me just make sure this is still in the frame. Yeah, okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the sine where the theta over 2 happens to be. Okay, so what do I mean by that? All right, so let's say I have something that's in quadrant 1. Okay, so as you guys know, we've got 0, 90, 180. If you hear running around, it's the cat. Okay, so theta right now is in quadrant 1. Okay, so I know that that means that my angle has to be in between 0 and 90 degrees. Okay, so theta over 2, we can divide everything by 2. So we're going to end up with 0 and 45 degrees. Okay, so that's still going to end up being in quadrant 1, and both sine and cosine are going to be positive in quadrant 1. So the sign on the outside of my radical is going to be a positive. Okay, so we're going to apply the same principles to the other quadrants. So let me scroll up. Okay. All right, so if we're thinking about quadrant 2, so quadrant 2 goes from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. So we're going to divide everything by 2. So we're going to get 45 degrees and 90 degrees. Okay, so that's actually in quadrant 1. So again, even though theta is in quadrant 2, theta over 2 is still in quadrant 1. So the sign on the outside is going to be, again, positive. Okay. All right, so next we have quadrant 3. So quadrant 3 is going to go from 180 degrees to 270 degrees. So again, I'm going to divide everything by 2. So we're going to get 90 degrees and 135 degrees. Okay, so between 90 and 135, that's going to put me in quadrant number 2. Okay, so my sign, if we're in quadrant 2, your sign is going to end up being positive, and your cosine is going to end up being negative. And the reason why that has to do is because cosine is negative in quadrant 2, but sine is still positive. Okay, and then last but not least, we've got quadrant 4. So that is 270 degrees to 360 degrees. Divide, divide, divide. We get 135 and 180. Okay, so 135 to 180, that is putting me still in quadrant 2. Okay, so again, your sine is going to be positive and your cosine is going to be negative. So hopefully that helps. Let me know what you think.